Hi guys. Well, I'm back for another straight shave, and today, actually I've been using a Chevette a whole lot, so today I want to do a straight shave. It's been a while, and today there's been a lot of talk lately in the groups. Today I've got my gold dollar from Bill Grains, or as they like to call him in the groups, Billy T. It says 200 on it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I do know one thing though, and you guys can chime in the comments. If you look at this thing over here, boy, that little pointy part, I think that's called a barber's notch. That thing tends to catch me right there on the cheek. I've got, you can't see it in the video at all, but maybe you can. I got a cut there, and I always seem to kind of catch myself with the end of the blade somewhere. I've got my ear right there on my earlobe, got a cut, and I actually have a cut underneath my ear on the other side. So that thing seems to catch me a lot. But I like the razor. It was my first. I actually won it on Wet Shaver Review, courtesy of Bill Grains. I was actually talking to him, looking to buy a razor at the time. And then, what do you know? I won that thing, and I was all excited. I didn't use it for a while. It took me a while to get comfortable with a straight, or a Chevette for that matter. But today I'm going to go ahead and shave with my gold dollar from Bill. And if you're looking to get into straight shaving, you can't go wrong. Many have said it. You can get one from Bill for $23 shipped. There's a lot of talk about gold dollar out there, and all I can say is I've not had a bad experience with it. It's not the most expensive razor you can find, but I can get a good shave with it, and you can too. So that's something to keep in mind, because it can be expensive to start out with a straight, between the razor and the strap and some other things. Another thing about straps. If you're starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money, like I didn't, and you don't know what strap to get, like I didn't, you can strap on a leather belt. The only problem is if it's not 3 inches wide, you have to do these X strokes, this windshield wiper thing, which can be a little daunting. But the best way to go is either with a paddle strap, because you don't have to worry about holding it taut, or you can take a book and you can put newspaper over it, several sheets, and then you can just drop right on that thing on a flat surface. You can't see my hand, right on the book. And there are videos to watch to show you how to strap, because it's important that you don't roll the blade, and that you lead with the spine and these kinds of things. And Anthony Esposito and Matt Pisarcik and some other people, I forgot the name of the place there right now, have some good videos about strapping. But what I wanted to say was, you don't have to buy a strap. You can actually strap on a book just to get started. But I would encourage you to use something flat like a paddle or a book. Paddle's the best thing, rather than a hanging strap initially, because it's one less thing to worry about with your technique, and you can dull the edge really fast like I did. Another thing to keep in mind is very little pressure when you're strapping. Really, they say no pressure, but I can't say enough good things about the Stallion. Has helped me with a lot of aspects of this, and one of the things he told me was with strapping, just a tiny bit of pressure. You can't have no pressure, but just a little bit of pressure on the strap, and I was really bearing down on that strap initially, and of course, wearing down the edge prematurely and damaging the strap as well. So, and they say you're going to damage your first strap. I don't know if that's true or not, but like I said, getting a paddle strap is probably a good way to start. It's one less thing, and whatever you do, get it 3 inches wide. X strokes, to me, are a real hassle. I mean, it looks really cool when you see it in the movies and on TV and stuff, with doing all that stuff, and we see videos where they speed it up. But slow is okay, and a paddle's the way to go. So I've got my gold dollar. I've got my, I can't even see it there. Got my Art of Shaving sandalwood cream. Now, I love this stuff. This was the first cream that I bought. I had been using Parasso. Let me see if I can find it here. That I get at Bath and Body Works, this Bigelow. I've been using that for about 3 years. Before I got fully into this thing, I was using a multi-blade cartridge razor, but it was actually a disposable 2-blade razor. So it wasn't a double edge. People say that, but it's a 2-blade disposable razor. I was using a plastic razor that you use, when you throw away. I did it about I get 3 shaves out of it. But I was using a cheap Tweezerman Badger brush that I bought on Amazon for about $15, and I was using that Parasso for quite a bit. And that was about 3 years that I was using that, because to back up a little bit, my journey into wet shaving, I had been shaving with, I never learned how to shave. No one ever taught me. I watched my grandfather once or twice with a DE razor with the butterfly doors where you unscrew the top and drop the blade in. And but I never really saw anything, and it seemed to me like it was very old school. He had a cup and a brush, and I don't know how the soap was, if it was a hard soap or a cream or what. I see him mix it up. But to me, that was just, then he used to move the brush around his face, and I thought, you know, that's a whole lot of stuff there. So when I started shaving, it was, you know, if I wanted a close shave, I would shave up. And if I didn't want such a close shave, I would shave down, and sometimes I would shave down and then say, that's not close enough, and I would go and shave up, and then of course there would be irritation. So a couple of years after I started shaving, I went to an electric razor on a recommendation from a friend, and that thing I didn't have good results with, for the most part. It would work for a little while, and then it would get gummed up with oils and stuff, and you would clean the inside with a brush and soak it in different chemicals and spray it and all this stuff, and it still didn't work really well. So, but I did that for a lot of years, and sometimes I get a little bit of razor burn with it. Use this electric shave, pre-shave, and all this kind of stuff. Wasn't too thrilled with it. So fast forward to 2010, I have to shave daily for work, and sometimes I'm working 4 or 5 days a week, and sometimes I'm working 6, 7 days a week. And I was getting a rash on my cheeks really bad, and I didn't know what to do. And the more I shaved, and the more I had problems with shaving, the less pressure I'd apply, because initially I would take that plastic razor and I would just bear right down with that thing to get a close shave, just push down hard. So, of course, I didn't know what I was doing. And this was recently, you know, this was up until about 2010. So then I tried different things, and nothing worked, and the rash was bad. I went to my doctor for something else, and I said, hey, I got this rash, and what can I do? And he said, don't shave. And I said, listen, I got to shave for work. And he said, well, I don't know what to tell you. If you shave, you're gonna cause more problems. I'll give you a note for work, and he did. And I tried that for about a week to 10 days. And I couldn't stand it. My face was itchy. I looked terrible. And so I sought advice from some other people at work, and they told me to get this soap, this cream here, this Bigelow stuff. Somebody told me about that. They told me they have some sort of an exfoliating scrub also at Bath and Body Works, which I got. And I picked up a brush, like I said, on Amazon, knowing nothing about the stuff. Just it was, you know, they had quite a range in price. I picked a very inexpensive brush, but I still used my disposable 2-blade razor. Made a huge difference. And I did that for about 3 years. Let me see, 10, yeah, from the fall of 2010 until about the fall of 2013, and then, well, the summer of 2013. Somehow, I wandered into the art of shaving, and I had been watching Mantic's videos for a little bit, and between all that stuff, I looked at some razors. I bought a Mercure Progress. Long story short, I bought some of this Art of Shaving cream, and the oil, and the balm, which I'll be using today. And I already had a styptic pencil, because that's easy enough to get. And there you go. So I started shaving with the Progress, and it was okay. I really wanted to get a shavette, but they were out of it, the Dovo. And they actually charge more for that thing, like they charge more for everything. You can get it anywhere, but I like to put my hands on it. So they didn't have the shavette. I started shaving with the Progress, and that was in the summer of 13. And by the end of the year, I had gotten this gold dollar. And by the beginning of the year, I started to use it a little bit, and I cut myself a whole bunch. Every day looked like I'd been in a fight with a cat. So finally I had to stop with that, use the DE, and then eventually I would go back to the straight, a little bit here and there, and if I would cut myself really badly, then I would stop. And eventually I got to the point, not too long, by the spring of this year, of 14, yeah, where I was shaving only with a straight, and then I went back to the shavette, and I liked that, and I've been kind of back and forth. So that's my kind of journey into wet shaving. It was a very slow climb for me. It was a very steep learning curve on the straight. But now that I've gotten it down, I love it. I don't touch a DE. And of course, I meant to do all this while I was shaving. But anyway, I had seen David Gonzalez make a video recently that talked about his journey into wet shaving and why he makes these videos. And I thought I would kind of do a similar thing while I was shaving. But obviously, that didn't work out. And of course, you know, these videos I think are very helpful for everyone watching them, certainly. And I like making them, you know, talking to you guys. It's the only way we can really interact on this level. So I enjoy that. So for today's shave, like I said, I've got my gold dollar, I've got my auto shaving soap, I've got my sandalwood balm, I've got my cheap styptic, and I've got my alum. That's the case for it. My little kind of alum, I don't know what you call that. It's not really a pen, but I like that form. So I just had my, almost forgot. Today I'll be using my, you can't really see that, Big Shave 2014, number 49. That was actually my age when I got this thing in the fall of 14. I have a birthday on October 24th. It was before that, so that worked out really well. I didn't have too many numbers to choose from. This is a 2-band brush. I don't know a lot about it. It's a Badger brush. I like it. It's a densely packed knot. It has a nice luxurious feel to it, and I really like it a lot. Again, this is a Big Shave 2014. Really nice brush. I forgot the guy's name. I think his first name is Jamie, who was responsible for the brush itself, the end product, and he did a great job, and I'm really happy with it. I've got my scuttle here that I use just to soak the brush initially, and sometimes to let it rest in between passes. I've been doing a lot more face lathering now, and I really like it. I've been doing bowl lathering for a long time. Now I'm up to face lathering. Here we are, 12 minutes. I haven't done a thing yet. I'm going to go ahead and re-wet my face now so we can get our shave on. And we'll see if we can. Now the only thing with this art of shaving, obviously it's expensive, but the cream, it seems like it doesn't, you know, it doesn't go very far. And of course other people know this already. I'll show you the tub in a second as soon as I load my brush. There, I've got a good load on there. This tub is a classic case of false advertising. If you look at it, it's got a false bottom. So you think the soap is filled to the height of the tub, but inside it's got a sort of an inner tub, and that thing is not the same depth as the tub. So I like this stuff a lot. I don't think it's ridiculously expensive, but I don't like the deception on the packaging where you think you're getting that much soap and you're actually getting a whole lot less until you get to the bottom. So that's a bunch of nonsense. But anyway, let me go ahead and get some lather going here. My brush has cooled off quite a bit while I was talking. I'm going to have to definitely get some water going here. Lather's kind of dry. But I have gone to face lathering. That's the thing about this wet shaving. You're always making changes. Just when you think you're settled into a routine, something else comes up. So I'm going to get a little bit of water going on my brush here. Just dip it in the scuttle. That's the easiest way to do it. And this art of shaving cream, the sandalwood, has a wonderful smell to it. It has great lathering. Lathers up really easily. Somebody once said if you can't lather with that, you know, then you have a problem on your end. It's not the brush. Because I was complaining or talking about one of the brushes that I had gotten at one time, how I couldn't make a good lather with it. And if it was this soap, then, you know, it wasn't the brush. But anyway, lather's still kind of thick and dry here, so I'm going to just dip the tips of my brush in some water in that scuttle and try to get, because with a straight shave, you want to get a lather that's a little bit on the kind of watery side. I hate to use that word, but you don't want a lather that's too dry. You want a wetter lather with a straight razor. Now I've got 3 days growth in here. I shaved on Friday morning, so today's Monday, so that's 3 days. And I find that I get a much better shave with less effort and less passes when I have some growth. I don't understand why, but I shaved my head yesterday, so I'm not going to shave that today. I don't like to shave my head every day, and I got a nice close shave yesterday with it with my Dovo Chevette. So today it'll be only the face. My wife can't stand when I shave my head and not my face. I don't like the look of a beard with a bald head. I wouldn't call it a beard, but you know. Anyway, she told me to shave today, so that's interesting because, you know, usually I just let it grow on my days off. But anyway, I got a nice lather going here. So we'll go ahead and, I've already strapped my razor. I strapped it at the end of the shave, which a lot of people recommend, so that it kind of makes sure, you make sure the razor is dry, get a little bit of heat going. And then I strapped it prior to the shave, probably about 25 times on the leather. So we'll see how that goes. So here we go, I've got my razor. By the way, these are custom scales from Bill the Blue. I asked for those, I really like them a lot. I'm going to wet the tips of my fingers and get them going on my Allen block so I can get a good hold on my face when I stretch my skin. And I'll get my shave on here, and hopefully this won't take too long. We're 15 minutes in and I haven't put a blade to my face yet. But here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this side. And you can hear that, you can see that too, by the way. A lot of hair on there. Good audio feedback. And I'll tell you that this razor, honed by Bill, is just as sharp as it gets. It does a really nice job. And I'm really pleased with it. As long as I don't kind of ruin the edge on the strap too quickly, it'll last me a while. And Bill just does a great job. Going to kind of, like I said, I get close to the ear over here, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit. And you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. And that side is tough. Of course, the light is washing me out bad here from the sun coming through the bathroom window, so maybe the other side will be a little better. Another thing, beard mapping is really important. And what I found is every now and then it's good to go back and recheck which way your hair grows by letting it grow for several days. Because just when you think you figured it out, there's a little something that you didn't notice. So it's a good idea to kind of check how your beard grows every now and then, because it grows in different directions on different parts of your face. You know, the old thinking was down was with and up was against the grain, but it really depends a whole lot in different areas of your face. Mine kind of grows all wild in this area here in the goatee area. It's terrible. So let me go ahead and try to finish up this side. I feel like the lather's getting kind of dry, so I might have to re-lather in some areas, but I'm going to try to cover some ground here anyway. Yeah, it's definitely getting dry. Yeah. Well, I may throw some water on the brush here in just a second. The other thing with the straight, which you've probably heard plenty, I'm not giving you anything new here. When you rinse it off, some people prefer to just wipe it with a sponge. But if you're going to rinse it off, you have to be careful that the water is flowing down, and you keep it away from the scales or the handle and any of those pins in there, because this thing can rust easily. Water becomes trapped in there, and it's not good. Let's see if we can finish up down here before we relather. Alright, I'm actually going to try to go ahead and get my other cheek, and then I'll relather my chin and see about how this first pass is, because I'm not working today, so I may just go with one pass, and I'm going to shave tomorrow morning for work, so I may just go with one pass today, and I'm going to go ahead and get some alum going on my other hand, and we'll do the other cheek. Cheeks are the easiest places. So I like to do those first, and the chin for me is where I have my thickest growth, and it grows in all kinds of directions. So I generally leave that for last. So let's go ahead and do this cheek here on the side. Believe it or not, I think I actually may have poked my ear with the tip, but it doesn't look like it. There was some cream missing, but I don't think there's any blood there, so I just kind of poked it. And others have said it, but really once you get used to this thing, it's really a very pleasant shave. I don't know how else to phrase it. People talk about this Zen-like, and I understand that, but any ritual in the bathroom can be like that too. But I find that this is just very enjoyable, this straight shave. And you feel this sense of accomplishment, because anybody looking in from the outside who's not experienced is going to say, wow, wish I could do that. That's really cool. At least that's my opinion anyway. And here I am getting some water on the other part of the blade where I just told you guys you got to be careful. So I'm going to kind of wipe that down really well here. I'm not a big fan of the sponge, but anyway, let's go ahead. And I got some, these are cuts here from another time. I don't know if you can see them. You probably can't, but I didn't cut myself today so far, so I'm going to keep that going. Yeah, I got to re-lather that area there. It's getting too dry. And just rinse off this blade. Oh, and by the way, I keep mentioning Bill. Another thing to keep in mind is he offers honing services at a very reasonable price. Fast service. He does a great job. He takes pride in his work. And you should get your razor honed by someone that knows what they're doing periodically. Although you can touch it up on your own, and so you know, I can't say enough good things about Bill and his services. Let me go ahead and lather this up here. Also, watch Buster's latest video. His channel is called Shave Buster, and he talks about where to get your gear from. And he mentions a lot of online vendors, and I think it's a really good resource. I received no compensation from anyone, but I have to tell you that you know, that's another value to these videos, both making and watching them, is to share this information with the ever-growing wet shaving community, which is a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and try to finish this up here. Get my fingers going in the alum. Yep, I do a lot of talking, but what can I say? That's the story of my life. Okay guys, well I actually had a problem with the camera. Ran out of space on my phone, so all done now with the shave, but I wanted to come back and kind of close it out. I did make another pass with the grain, and that one went a whole lot better. So I think that it was less about dry lather and more about a thick beard. I always find that first pass was a little tuggy at times, but the blade seemed pretty sharp to me. My lather was a little dry. But the second pass went really well, so I've got 2 passes with the grain. It actually feels really good, I have to say. I did cut myself, like I said, on the cheek in that spot. And I got a little one down here, but you can't see it. I, you know, post-shave, I did my alum. I didn't do anything else. And you can't even tell. So that area is always a little dry for me, too. I always moisturize it a whole lot. But I just wanted to kind of recap. Again, I had my Badger brush. This is my the Big Shave 2014 special edition brush that I really like. It's really luxurious. It's not a high loft, but it's a densely packed knot. It's a pretty big knot. I can't remember the size. I'm thinking it's like in the mid 20s millimeter knot. But I love this Art of Shaving sandalwood cream. Like I said in the video, I don't think it's that pricey, but I do dislike strongly this design where, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the interior of the tub has another tub in it, and that tub comes up probably, let me see if I can get my finger on there and show you, about that high. So from the bottom of my finger to the bottom of the tub, which is basically the bottom text there, there's no product. Because it's a hollow tub. And I'm right at the bottom of this tub. I'm just about used up. So I don't think I'll be buying another one anytime soon, but I really do like it a lot, so who knows. Also, I had my gold dollar. This is my little razor stand that I picked up at the Art of Shaving in Las Vegas. And again, this was my gold dollar razor from Bill. You can see it looks really good. And, you know, I can't say enough about the affordability of these things. Certainly there are a lot of straight razors out there, and I wouldn't, you know, I have probably about 4, I think, right now, actually. But I do like that razor a whole lot. And other than that, I think that's it. Like I said, I used my Art of Shaving aftershave balm, the sandalwood, which is very nice. I like it. It's pricey as well. But, you know, I rotated it in and around with my shaves. So that's really all I've got. I just wanted to say that, you know, like I said before, I do enjoy doing these things. I do enjoy watching them. Feel free to make any comments, and hope to see you again soon.